John 1:45 to 50. So, I have a question for you. Have you ever heard of a story that made you say, wow, that's unbelievable? There are a lot of things that we can find unbelievable. For some of us, that can be the very things we talk about in church. This could just be a wild guess, but I bet that you know someone who has wondered, is this whole Christianity even real? God, Jesus, even the Bible? Well, if you're here today and you've asked these questions, or maybe even asking them right now, welcome, you're not alone. The good news is, you're not the only one. I'm with you. Even one of Jesus' closest followers is with you. When Jesus first began his ministry, he first started by looking for disciples. One day, he stumbled across a guy by the name of Philip and asked him to be his disciple. Philip, filled with excitement, ran to his friend Nathanael to tell him all about it. And in John 1:45 to 46, it says, Philip found Nathanael and told him, we have found the man that Moses wrote about in the law. The prophets wrote about him too. He is Jesus. He is the son of Joseph. He is from Nazareth. But Nathanael said, Nazareth? Can anything good come from Nazareth? Philip was trying to tell Nathanael about the greatest man he had ever met. And Nathanael was like, I'll believe it when I see it. What was Nathanael's problem with Nazareth? Well, Nazareth was a tiny village, and Nathanael thought if the Savior of the world was going to come from anywhere, he'd come from a way more legit place. The idea of the Messiah coming from a place like Nazareth was simply ridiculous. And continuing from 46, it says, Philip answered, come and see. Jesus saw Nathanael coming toward him and said, this man coming is a true Israelite, one you can trust. Nathanael asked, how do you know me? And Jesus answered, I saw you when you were under the fig tree before Philip told you about me. And then Nathanael said, teacher, you are the Son of God. You are the King of Israel. What was Jesus' response to Nathanael's doubt? Did he respond with anger or frustration? No. In fact, Jesus seems to applaud Nathanael for being a man of integrity, someone who's smart, honest, and not easily fooled. Jesus seems to like the fact that Nathanael questioned Philip's assignment about him. Nathanael may not have jumped on the Jesus bandwagon at first, but once he got to know him, he realized he was everything Philip had said. Here's what I know. When he met Jesus, everything changed. Maybe we feel like Nathanael from time to time. Sometimes we feel like we carry around this backpack full of doubt, questions, things we're afraid to say out loud. We think that we can either have faith or we can have doubt. But like Nathanael, I think the reality is that even with our doubts, we can still have faith. When I read the story of Nathanael, here's what I see. Jesus can handle our questions. He's not afraid of them, and he's not offended by them. But instead, he's eager to show you he can be trusted. Just like Jesus invited Nathanael, despite his question, he does the same for you. He has invited you, and is still inviting you to follow him. That's a personal invitation. You don't have to know all the answers before you jump in with Jesus. Jesus says to follow him as you are, questions and all. Remember, Jesus can handle our questions. He's not afraid of them, and he's not offended by them. You may not always get a clear answer to your questions, but here's what I can promise you. When you meet Jesus, you'll get a new perspective on all your questions. There will always be things about God that feel unbelievable at times, but this doesn't disqualify you from knowing Jesus. You can carry your questions while you follow him, because even with our doubts, we can still have faith, because Jesus can handle our questions. Thank you.